Prepare yourself for an entertaining and somewhat informative hour of MMA Talk Radio.
My mission here is to motivate.
Out of the red corner, Ocho. Out of the blue corner, Timbo Slice. And your host, Fight Fit Lifestyle founder and UFC fighter, Stephen Ocho Peterson.
What's up, guys? We're live with XKO star Landry Ward and new XKO bantamweight champ Isaiah Gutierrez. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
No problem, man. No problem. Thank you for having
us. Good to have you guys here, man.
Landry Ward's third time on the show. Isaiah's first time. You ever done radio?
Nah, man, but this is a nice setup.
It is?
We've been doing this for a few years.
Wow.
Used to get kind of nervous coming in, but now we just come and bullshit. And
it's sitting around shooting
uncensored,
shit.
And we just have a conversation amongst us. And we didn't get talk too much in the lobby, but let's get acquainted.
For sure.
So, what got you into MMA to start with?
Man, I actually wanted to do boxing first, and I just we get around the neighborhood and just beat the shit out of each other, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have gloves to begin with. We just use our fucking fist. And then my godfather, he did golden gloves and stuff, and he had some old ass gloves. So you put them on, and the fucking padding would shift, so you'd catch a knuckle.
Oh, yeah.
So we might as well just been barefisted anyways to begin with. And then someone would be using the pads to fucking slap box somebody, basically.
Because you didn't have enough gloves?
Nah, it was ghetto, man. But
you had one left glove, one right glove.
So we'd just be doing that. And then man, I got lucky one day because I was just turning on the TV, and it was Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner. And iconic. Iconic.
How old were you then?
Oh man, I had to been probably 13.
I remember that too, because in that day and age, it was WEC. It was on Versus WEC, and then right after they'd have the Ultimate Fighter on Spike. So it would be as soon as that's over, it was 31 and then channel 32. So just flip up one, and it'd be right there. And I remember that whole season. That was my first year when I actually started training MMA. So I had a similar background, fighting backyards, getting all the kids that thought they were tough. Hey, you want to fight? Let's do it in my backyard where we won't get in trouble.
Yeah.
So we beat the shit out of each other, and then watching the Ultimate Fighter and started training. It was that was my inspiration. I get home from training and watch that and just oh yeah, one day I'm gonna be there. 3 years I'll be in the UFC. Just thinking thinking it was so easy, but those were the days, and that fight just really put the sport on the map.
Yeah, I remember watching, thinking what the fuck is this? Because I've only seen boxing and stuff, and I was dude, this is crazy. And they're just bleeding everywhere, and I'm oh man, it was I'd get the chills watching it and stuff, and it was just crazy. And then I remember another fight came on. I can't remember who was this on this card, but I remember just sitting down there with my dad, and I was I want to do this, and they're you want to do that, and then we hit up
he was really?
Yeah. We hit up a Taekwondo place, a small one, and he had no students. We're some of his first students, and it was cool.
You learned the basics.
Yeah, we learned some kicks and stuff like that, but it just wasn't, wasn't exactly it's not the shit that I'm seeing on TV.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I wanted to go to another gym, and we lived far away from some of these, I live in a small town, Mineral Wells, you know what I mean?
Oh,
and
you're from Mineral Wells?
Oh, yeah, I'm from Mineral Wells.
Okay.
I lived there, grew up there. And so, I'm from this small town, and then, we would go to Fort Worth at Team Looters. And this one was when Travis Luter, was, right before he was about to get to the Ultimate Fighter, the comeback. You know what I mean? And so we started going there. And, dude, I just got the shit beat out of me every day, all day. And jiu-jitsu and stuff, you know what I mean? It was so we started jiu-jitsu. And my dad started training too, because he just came off a heart attack and stuff, so he wanted to get in shape. And we just get the shit drove out of us forever. It was 6 months. And I remember we finally were able to be one guy, so we'd always try 5. We'd always be hey man, you want to roll? Just to try getting one win, you know what I mean? And then that guy started getting better than us, so he started beating us too. So everyone was just beating us.
Damn, that dude's going to be coming for the belt next.
Right. And so, eventually, it's we started getting better. And then after that, we started doing some boxing stuff, and then rolling into Muay Thai. And then, just kind of training striking off and on. You know?
Started learning. There's so much to learn. You're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I just gotta. I had that same thing. I was like, I just gotta jump into everything
Mhm.
and just get a little bit of everything. And right now it'll be like I'm a low level at everything, but towards the end of my career I'll be high level, and that's where I'm starting to find my home. It's like I've been doing this for 12 years, so now I'm a fairly advanced striker, fairly advanced wrestler, fairly advanced jiu-jitsu. Nothing, world level, but by the end of my career, that's the goal.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how you have to think about it. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna specialize in jiu-jitsu and that'll get me to the top. It doesn't work like that anymore.
Because Travis Luter was known for his jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And that got him so far.
It did.
Until the sport.
He was undefeated
started
for a
to
long time.
evolve.
Wasn't he undefeated for a long time?
Yeah.
I have to go back and look at that, but I know eventually he fought Chuck Liddell, and Chuck
he-
knocks everybody out.
He
so.
fought freaking Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
And he was doing really well in that fight.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was coming off of like a horrible weight cut. Like that dude looked dead. I think Joe Rogan talked about it on his podcast, and that was like the worst he's ever seen anybody like in a weight cut. It looked like he was about to just collapse. And I mean, he was really successful with his career and stuff, so it was cool. Like, and just seeing the difference. Like, dude, whenever like his gym was pretty good, like population wise, whenever like before the comeback, but after the comeback, oh my god, dude, like. It was fucking insane. Like
Everybody coming in there.
Yeah, because it was also like one of the only gyms really in the area as well. Because MMA was like, it was still fairly new, in a lot of ways. It was nothing like how it is now, So it was crazy just seeing how like, like like back then when I first signed up, the MMA classes, it didn't even say MMA. It was NHB for no holds barred.
No holds barred.
Yeah, so it was like, in a weird way, it was like, I feel fortunate because like I got to see all that stuff play out. Like, I was like kind of into it before it was even like anything.
The coaches learned how to because they didn't do the sport on their own. So it was like Muay Thai coaches became MMA coaches or jiu-jitsu coaches became MMA coaches, and they had to learn. Now the sport's come full circle to where fighters are starting to retire and people with actual experience are becoming coaches, and that's a whole.
So you're getting
you're just
better coach,
waiting.
exactly,
and
coach.
now you're getting UFC level guys that turn around being coaches. Right. Think of all the coaches that are popular in the game right now. Did any of them really have a name in the sport?
Right.
Dwayne Ludwig is one of them, but as far as even for Asahabi, like none of them were in the UFC or had a name in mixed martial arts. Nowadays, when all these guys retire, they're going to be, phenom coach or, a select good men. They'll have the experience as far as a credential.
MMA is now the style.
Right.
Taekwondo was the style. Karate with boxing was the style. Jiu-jitsu. Now MMA is its own style.
Yeah.
Like it's a system now.
Right.
And now they have systems on how to train MMA. Like
you take parts that work from each martial art and then you put them into MMA because there's some shit in jiu-jitsu that you just can't do in MMA. Same with wrestling. You can't put your head down on the takedowns. And same with striking. You can't stand upright like a Muay Thai style.
So, Isaiah, last Friday night, you had a tough opponent fighting out of Guy Mesger's gym, Mr. Anders.
Yes.
And looked like the game plan going in was kick the shit out of his legs.
Yeah, like he's he's a durable dude. Like if you look at his record, man, he's never been like finished or anything like that. So instead of just like out there head hunting, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take away his legs. That way he's less explosive to get on the inside, and then I'm gonna start working the body. I'm gonna test his body out as soon as I start chopping down those legs to kind of pick at his gas tank because it's 5-round fight. So I was like, well, he's pretty well endurance. So I was like, let's just start poking holes in his gas tank. Let's see how that holds up. Just chop the legs, work the body, and then I wanted to work going up to the head, but he actually shut a lot of those down. You know what I mean? Pretty well. I was kind of surprised about how well he stopped the head kicks and stuff. But yeah, that was just the game plan, and like I'm glad that it worked out how I thought it was going to with like the kicks and stuff like that.
So it was a 5-round fight, wasn't
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you picking at the inside leg over and over again. I think that slowed his onslaught. He's a very explosive fighter, so he wasn't able to explode in like he would want to. Because if you push off your back leg and you throw a right hand and somebody throws the inside leg kick at the same time, it's going to floor you. You're going to drop to a knee.
I think you got caught with one of those early in the fight.
If you miss the inside leg kick or don't hit it quick enough, then it won't work. But if you keep popping that inside leg, then they're going to start not committing to the right hand. They're not going to throw it. They're not going to explode in. And then, then his movement starts to waver. And that's, slowly picking apart that puzzle when you're fighting somebody so explosive.
I think he stopped punching after like the second or third round.
Yeah, he couldn't. You can't push off your feet.
Couldn't move.
Yeah, about the third, I think that's when it really started picking up on him. Because the second he did catch me in the second round,
right?
So he still has, he still had that explosiveness, and it was like the, going with that right hand,
little flash knockdown.
Yeah, it was like, and like shit, but just get up, stick to the game plan, just keep doing you, and it worked out. It was kind of just kept chipping away, chip away.
His legs. I had some photos on our Facebook page. Took some photos of legs, man. They were well
up. Yeah.
Up. So that was a great fight.
Yeah, it was a good fight. Showed like veteran composure, and congrats to you.
Thanks,
and winning the title.
Yeah, thank you.
You didn't bring the belt with you?
No, dude. I thought about it, and by the time I drove off, I was like, "Fuck."
That's what it's for, man. You're supposed to carry that around.
Show it off while you can. They're gonna take it back. They're gonna take it back.
Leave all the promotion for the Lone Star beer.
Oh, there it is. So, Mr. Landry Ward, the Lone Star
also
kid.
was tested last Friday night. I was looking forward to that fight a lot. I was like, this is a good test for you. Everybody knows what you're capable of as far as, setting guys up and knocking them out. But what are you going to do when you can't knock the guy out or when he's super explosive and he actually brings the fight to you? And for the first time that we've seen, you're wearing some battle damage.
Yeah. First time weaving a fight with a black eye.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah, it felt good to go 3 rounds and take a little bit of damage, show that I am capable of going 3 rounds.
So that you can overcome that adversity.
Yeah, I'm not just a one-dimensional fighter either. So.
Yeah, he showed some good groundwork, took his back.
Yes.
Could have done. I felt like my offensive wrestling was good, but I had so many opportunities to finish that fight, and that's been eating at me a lot. But
yeah, but you got to give him credit because
he is a tough dude.
He's super tough, super explosive, and it was like every time that you saw an opportunity, it's like he explode out.
Yeah.
Or, he's one of those guys that can get away with doing the quote wrong thing, maybe even turning his back just because he's so explosive.
So explosive.
There's some guys like, okay, they teach you, shrimp, turn in, and to get off your back and hip out, right? And there's some guys that'll just totally explode, turn the other way, push you off, and then stand up. And it's like, most guys you'll be able to take their back, but if they're super explosive, sometimes it's hard.
So that battle was pretty back and forth, and me and Timbo, and for your fight, I mean, we're cage side.
Yeah,
so,
not even with the table in front.
Not even. I mean,
able to stick your fingers in the cage if you wanted to.
Yeah. Actually, I got yelled out for that. They're like, "Get your fingers out of the cage." I was like, "My bad."
Thought the ref was yelling at the fighters. He was yelling at you.
Yeah, he was. Get your fingers out of the cage. Oh, my bad.
Like, hey, asshole.
So both guys. I mean, you guys were landing some shots. So on Isaiah, he was landing those leg kicks. Man, I was flinching. By the end of the fight, I was flinching because of those leg kicks he was landing. And on Landry's fight, y'all were just trading back and forth, a lot of exchanges. Once y'all would clinch up and break up, man, it was guns a-blazing both ways. I mean, he would come back with some hooks and some shots, and he caught you clean with some hard shots. And I could see you kind of like, bear down and like go back in. Like, oh, man, it was good. So that was an excellent card that night. So much fun.
Yeah, I needed Ocho on the booth. I'm 3 for 3 with him calling fights with knockouts.
Yeah, I told him I wanted to commentate that one. They gave me one of the amateur fights. I was like, all right, got to take what they give me. But yeah, maybe next time we could work that out. Cause I can see it when it's coming. I'm like, oh look, look at this opening, and then he does it. Oh shit! Did you see that?
Yeah.
Maybe he hears me.
One of my favorite part about Landry's fight was the end once he got his hand raised and he thanked the U.S. military.
Yeah. Oh, your post-fight speech was like a veteran speech. You could tell you've definitely thought it through, or I don't know if you rehearsed it, but I've had times where I thought it through in my head, and then it just happens, like, and you just say it perfectly.
Yeah, I definitely thought about saying it just because that's such a big thing that's going on in the world right now, and there's a lot of families going through it, and it's hard not to have respect for the troops.
Right.
They
you have friends or family that are in?
I had a grandfather who was in. Not currently. I don't have family in, but just I do have friends who are active duty and vets. So it's hard. They're the reason that we're able to come out and do what we do and be free every day, and I'm able to chase my dream. So to not give them credit and say that they're in my thoughts was something that I felt like I had a platform
especially
to
at this
speak
point.
It's
about.
a much appreciated shout out.
Yeah, there's a lot of people getting into politics and anti-military, anti-Trump, and all that bullshit. It's like we don't like to get into politics too much, but somebody had to die. So,
but that all aside, it's the guys, the young men that are out there putting their lives on the line and
on the front
sacrificing
lines.
all that.
You
got to
give them the respect,
For sure.
like Timbo's son.
Exactly. So my son's a Marine right now, so he's. It's interesting watching the whole process. I mean, they train for this. They're excited about it. They want to get into some action, but as a parent, you think, "Holy shit, what's going to happen?"
It's about to get crazy.
Yep.
But
Yeah, man.
So, who the hell's this guy over here?
Oh, that's my cousin.
Oh, okay, you brought your cuz with you?
Yeah, Lucas, a.k.a. the Sam Square.
You can hop on the mic, Lucas, a.k.a. the what now?
Sam Square. You watch Trailer Park Boys?
Okay, yeah.
All right, we got.
His nickname used to be the
Everyone want to celebrate with the and new and the.
We got a 6-pack. We got 6 people at the table.
Oh, snap. What time is it?
It's beer time.
Jeez.
Lone Star beer for the Lone Star kid.
Oh,
Lone
man.
Star.
starting early.
Damn. No shit.
So, have you worked on an endorsement with Lone Star?
I'm working on it. I'm trying to get the word out there.
And
putting
we're
on social
trying to do it
media.
right now too.
Hey, Mark, you better be hashtagging
You
Lone
see
Star.
Cowboy out there?
They
with
write big
the-
checks.
Obviously he's got the Budweiser endorsement.
Cowboy Cerrone.
Cowboy Cerrone, and they made him a Budweiser can that they're selling in Vegas this week for
I also looked for that one.
all his accomplishments. I'm sure you'll be able to buy it on eBay and stuff, but it's going to be a limited edition. So, yeah, get them while you can. Get the Cowboy beers.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, Cowboy's a badass, man. He'll go out. I mean, even fight week, he's out there chugging beers and shit. Connor is saying he's been sober for months, but you saw it during his interview with Eric Juana. He keeps looking down to the left when he keeps talking about sobriety.
Yeah.
What does it mean when you keep looking down to the left when you're talking? It means you're
What
fucking
does
lying.
that mean?
I don't know.
His body language.
I've
You're
never-
Body
lying.
language means
I've never
I'm lying
lied.
like shit.
I don't know.
You are lying.
You're so good at it, Joe. You look everyone straight in the face, straight in the
Yeah.
eye when you lie.
I'm a
I think
professional
he's more
salesman.
sober than he has been in the past, but I don't
He's
think
sober for this fight.
I don't think he's been sober for 3-4 months.
Oh, you
Well,
think
I thought
Cowboy's sober?
Cowboy is not sober. He's been drinking in the media because
Started drinking before the fight.
But drinking Budweiser is a hell of a lot different than drinking proper whiskey.
Connor
It
didn't
depends
even
on
know.
where.
12.
Not if you're from Thailand.
Proper 12 is like shit poison for your body. Where Budweiser, all right, it's not great, but I mean, you're getting some good carbs. And there's some all right stuff.
Good American
Looking at the
carbs.
positives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like and it's not straight poison. Liquor is more straight poison.
This Lone Star is pretty good to me this morning.
It is
Oh.
good. And see, Connor didn't even know. He goes, it was 4 or 5 months. I'm not really sure. It was 4 or 5 months that I quit drinking. So if you quit drinking,
And
for that
then he
long,
looks
you
down
usually,
into the left.
You usually know if it was 4 months.
he's got a bottle
or it was
down
5
there.
months.
Yeah. He's got looking at his
I was
bottle.
looking at his bottle.
No, he was taking shots at press conference during fight week when he fought Khabib.
Of the proper 12.
Yeah, the proper 12,
you know how much-
endorsing all that.
Yeah.
And so, him not doing that, I think, is going to make a big difference. He looks a lot more disciplined. Like, he actually took it seriously. He's not clowning. He's not talking shit.
Very respectful.
He seems very mentally clear for this fight.
Very
Yeah.
respectful to Cowboy Cerrone. There was no bad
He
language.
realized, like, he needed to get his head out of the fucking gutter.
You
And it
think
was time.
You think he spent almost like he feels like he spent too much time like with bullshit and saying all this
Right.
other stuff that probably took away from like his fight. Like,
Well, nope. Everybody was sick of that. Everybody was
Yeah.
sick of seeing that.
That's true.
Like,
too.
that shtick was old. Like, all right.
Yeah.
What do you think he does when he wins? Think he goes right back to it?
It depends on who he's fighting. I believe.
back.
I believe
he's
it's-
going to go right back to it.
I believe it's
if
who
he
wins.
wins.
motherfuckers.
I'm thinking that the loss to Khabib, then all the allegations and all the bullshit that he had, going to jail, the stuff in Miami, all that. He's like, damn, all right, maybe I do need to turn some things around. So
Yeah.
that probably got him straight. And then
He's a little older now.
a
A little older and 2
got
kids.
2
So
kids.
that changes things. It changes your perspective on life quite a bit.
Well, going to court is expensive. He's probably tired of.
Oh, yeah, and he's got to pay everybody. The guy who smashed his phone. He got to pay the old man he smacked.
Uh-huh.
He's probably got to pay the 2 girls that accused him of rape. Not that I know anything about like that story or like what went down, but
I haven't heard anything
I
about
know
it.
like women just throw themselves at you and anything could happen. They can turn around and say
besides
anything.
paying his lawyers and everybody else to go along with it, he's paying off all those other
He's
people.
got to pay.
I bet
He's got to pay a settlement to the women or settlement to the guy he smacked.
Millions.
There's a lot of money he's paying out.
Millions.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee millions of dollars he spent in legal getting out of trouble.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
So did you guys watch the Aaron Rodriguez thing on Netflix?
I didn't watch it yet.
I watched it.
Is
it
it
was
good?
freaking in depth
Yeah.
on his life and everything. It was freaking awesome. I watched the whole thing
He had
one night.
real bad CTE. Is probably
When after he died, they studied
out.
his brain. And they said for that age, he has extremely really bad CTE. It
Man.
looked like an old man's brain.
God.
like
An
Timbo.
old man with CTE's brain.
Like Timbo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can show you on the back here where they've opened it up.
So it's raising a lot of questions about CTE and contact sports, which it has been. I forgot his name.
Well, there's been a lot of
Junior Seau.
Junior Seau. When he killed himself, it raised a lot of questions, and those questions were answered. He was, significantly older in the sport and had many concussions.
Mhm.
But I'd be interested to see some boxers' brains and some mixed martial artists' brains after they die and see the difference between those because boxing is a completely different sport than football, and then MMA is a completely different sport than boxing. So I would imagine you'd see at least differentials between the different brains. It wouldn't be the same exact type of head trauma.
I wonder.
In football, you're getting high velocity impacts daily,
Yeah.
and then in boxing, you're getting small impacts and small concussive blows daily. And then when you compete, you're getting concussions and then more damage on top of concussions. In MMA, the concussion's more short-lived. So you might get knocked out and finished, and then that's it. You don't get an 8 count to recover. So I would imagine that the brain's got to be totally different.
I think a lot of the damage just comes from the preparation and the sparring.
Sparring,
Yeah.
you're getting repetitive blows.
Every day.
Yeah. Some
They
mixed
call them
martial arts,
Boxing headaches.
and boxing headaches.
Yeah, boxing headaches.
And
Those are
they say
concussions.
from studies, the headgear doesn't make a difference as far as the concussive blow, and it
It's
makes
still Still shaking your
complete
head.
sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still getting your head jarred side to side whenever you get punched. It just helps with bruising and cuts.
And cuts, yeah.
So, I don't wear headgear unless I have a cut, and I realize I don't get hit as much when I don't have headgear. I'm able to see things and
For
move,
sure.
So, yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like I take less damage in a regular day of sparring than a boxer would, even though we're even though we're throwing punches and kicks. You know what I mean? Boxers are throwing just punches, but they're
I think the
banging each other's heads the whole time.
And that's they have two areas that they're aiming for:
Body and head.
Body and head.
Yeah,
I mean,
we got legs, body.
yeah.
We got all kinds of different.
chokes.
Yeah, we got all kinds of different aspects to the
Because
game.
have you ever been to a Mexican boxing gym? They spar hard, dude.
Dude, I've been
every
sparring with
day.
boxers, and I'm sick of it. Like, I'm
Dude,
like, you
they
guys punch fucking hard, and it's like rock'em sock'em robots.
Uh-huh.
I'm learning how to not brawl with the I'm learning how to move around and like dance. A little bit of ringsmanship rather, because my style has always been like go for it and kill, and I'm learning how to all right, I'm just not gonna strike for a couple minutes, figure them out, and then make them walk into something. Learning how to advance my game without going to war with these boxers.
Yeah. It definitely depends too, like who your sparring partners. Like sometimes when I go to Jackson's, especially with, like early on, there'd be like shit ton of people, and you're like, all right, I'll spar with this dude, and this dude's just like, you don't know who he is, but he's some fucking killer from Russia.
Right.
It's like, I'll go with you. And the next
Comrade.
thing he's like been like boxing to his whole life, and he's killing it. And then you look him up later, and he's like, there's this killer. And
200-0.
yeah, it's crazy, man. So yeah, definitely I think depends too on like who your sparring partners are, like figuring out good partners that they're gonna push you, but they're not gonna go like ape shit on you. You know what I mean?
So stepping into Jackson, was it like stepping in when you first started out, like you were talking about with your dad, where you're stepping in and going, holy shit, look at these people are
Oh, dude,
top notch, and
It was, man, like the first time like I went over there, because you live in the dorms, right? And so it's like I had no idea what to expect, but in my head it was like okay, I'm gonna have my own room, and then we just go train. It's like, nah, man. I was in a room with like 6 other dudes from Mongolia. They didn't speak no English. They're like cooking inside the room, and it's like, okay, it's time to go train.
Some good food though.
Dude, I didn't get to eat it because I was cutting weight. It smelled good though, man. They kept offering, and I was like, man, I wanted to say yes, but I was like, dude, I can't. I'm cutting weight, and that's when I was cutting to 25, so I really had to watch what I was eating.
Man,
you know what I
you're
mean?
a big dude for 25.
I don't
No
know
shit.
how I did it, man. Like I think about that shit, and it's
Give
like,
you a couple years, you won't even be able to make 35 no more. Trust me.
I can't even make 70 anymore.
yeah, dude, it's like I think about it. I'm like, it's crazy, man. But like most of the time I'd go over there, man. I'm looking like a scarecrow, man. Like I got nothing on me besides like bone, you know.
Hey, you looked all right for at 35.
My last fight though, like I felt like it was weird. Like I
Little
felt
drained,
I felt
lethargic.
I was just coming off the flu and stuff, and I think that really jacked with me a lot. Like even mentally, man. Like I've never had a fight like that before, where I was like so like stressed out. Like I'm in the back, you know, like thinking like, all right, okay, hopefully my endurance doesn't fuck up. Because I mean, I didn't get to really train like 2 weeks before that fight just because I was so fucked up from the flu and stuff. And some of my coaches were telling me, dude, I don't think you should do it. And then some of them were like, man, just work through it. And really, the only reason I did it is because I was like, man, I done missed all the holidays going in Albuquerque and everything.
You put in all this sacrifice.
I was like, I done sacrificed so much and missed out on everything just for this moment. And like I've had to pull out of fights before, and you always think like, you know, what if? And I was like,
Right.
I just don't want to deal with that what if.
You didn't want to have that what if question hanging over you.
Like I could have just, sucked it up and won in the first round and not have to deal with. But then when you go in and you take a L, you're like,
So, yeah.
maybe it wasn't a good idea
Yeah.
to fight with one arm. Like you think about these things and you're like, was that a good decision?
Yeah.
Was that because I was tough, or should I have made a smarter decision? And you weigh those options, but luckily you were able to come away with the W, and it paid off.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's always hard because you go back and forth. Like, man, is it worth like taking a loss? Is it worth I mean, let's be honest.
You have to weigh what you've put in to what you can get out.
Yeah.
If you've already sacrificed so much and invested so much, then you got to go through with it. If you haven't invested much, or I mean, I'm just saying there's different different cases, different scenarios. But if you blow out your knee, it doesn't really matter how much you sacrifice. It's like, hey, you're out. You can't keep going. So. There's, different cases, different scenarios. In this case, it was just a flu. So it was more, I think it was more of a mental thing. You had to really fight yourself.
Like I could feel it in my body and stuff, but I think a lot of it did become mental. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Well, you feel you're tired and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then you start wasting more energy just thinking about it.
Like, and then like the ultimate decision too was like there was a fight that I was supposed to do for LFA like a long time ago. And the fight before that, I broke my jaw, and luckily I won with a broken jaw. You know what I mean? But I had surgery and stuff like that, and then there ended up being like an opening, I guess, from like the surgery where it maybe like it fucked up or something in training and everything like that. Because they tell you to chill, but you know what I mean? It's like
Let's be honest, you can't do that.
The next day I was trying to like kick the bag and stuff, and I'd feel it rattle in my jaw, and it's all fucked up, And so like I think I didn't really help it out. And there ended up being an opening to where like I could see the plate like on the inside, and like food would get in there. And it was like I kept going the whole training camp with it like that. And to be honest, it was like one of the best camps ever. And it just kept bugging me. And we ended up pulling out of the fight. But after that, I was just like depressed. I was like, man, I should have just fucking sucked it up. I should have did it. And so I just remember those feelings, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna go through with it because I don't want to feel like that because. Look, I'm already hard on myself right now for that fight. I could have done way better. Like, when I fought in the Bellator fight, like, that's how I fight. This fight was not how I fight. But I'm thankful and happy that it pulled off, and I'm glad that I came in there with a game plan and it worked out. You know what I mean? So I'm fortunate for that and the opportunity and everything. But I just didn't want to live with those moments of, like, up all night, just, like, regret, So.
Prepare yourselves for a commercial break. This is Fight Fit Radio. We'll be back after these messages.
3, 2, 1. KVGIRadio.com.
Y'all have really just opened my bubble and just...
KVGI Radio brings you conversation and entertainment. Be sure to follow us on social media. Who streams the best talk shows? We do.
You're listening to KVGIRadio.com. Streaming live from the KVGI studios in Frisco, Texas. Live without limits.
Good question, man.
Not until they talk about it.
Prepare yourself for an entertaining and somewhat informative hour of MMA Talk Radio.
My mission here is to motivate.
Out of the red corner, Ocho. Out of the blue corner, Timbo Slice. And your host, Fight Fit Lifestyle founder and UFC fighter, Stephen Ocho Peterson.
Why's everybody looking at me?
You had this look like you've never heard that before.
That sounds cool.
It is cool, man.
It makes me look cool.
That's why we're
founder.
Fight Fit founder.
If it becomes a big deal, then that'll be something, huh?
Yeah.
here. It will be
We are
something.
kind of a big deal, huh?
Yeah.
The local,
Timbo is.
local,
Joe's always
local
told me that.
MMA scene. People recognize Joe Show when he has got his glasses on.
Yeah, when I take these glasses off, nobody knows who the hell I am.
Who
It's
the
kind of
hell's that
funny.
guy?
They're like, who are you? I put my glasses on, like, oh, Joe
it's-
Show. That's kind of why I do it. That way I can go to the grocery store in peace without mobs of people.
That boss of women.
Yeah, asking for autographs. Yep.
Do you know?
So we got
I've
the
been paying those
fighters on
ladies.
this side with no shades, and then we got all you guys with the shades on.
Because we're trying to be somebody.
We're cool as
We're the
fuck.
cool dudes, man.
Who the hell is this dude?
We want to
Who's
be
that
the
guy
cool
at the
dudes.
end?
I'm just really fucking high right now.
Oh, okay, good. That makes the three of us. Oh, man. So, Landry, what you got going on next, man?
Trying to get back April 17th with XKO, so we'll see what happens with that. Texas Live.
Oh, man.
So you have anyone else? And I heard I was talking to one of your fans, but he was hanging out with your mom. I was talking to him after the fight, and he was like, "Tell me how you got called out by this guy." You have anyone else that's calling you out? Are you calling anybody else out for your next fight?
No call outs. I do have a name, the contract sent to him, so they're reaching out to his camp, so we'll see what happens with that.
So it's in the works.
It's in the works.
Already. What are you, 3-0 now?
2-0
2-0 as a pro?
2-0 as a pro.
as a pro.
Did you see that? I sent you that old school video. We've already done 2 or 3 interviews together. This guy put me on the map with his interviews.
Oh, who's that?
Stepping up to
Landry.
Joe Show views.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Every
Dude,
time,
because
every time
our
we share a Landry Ward video, it gets like thousands of views.
Dude, I think one of them got like 16,000 views.
He has a really good following from the start and really like loyal fan base, which is really cool to see somebody, young that's already, well recognized and able to put asses in the seats. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. You have to win.
It's put.
You have to be exciting. But if you can't put asses in the seats, you're not going to make no money. And, to see somebody young able to put asses in the seats, he's going to make some money, no matter where he fights. We could start our own promotion today and put Landry Ward as the main event, and we know he's going to sell X amount of tickets.
You better.
Yeah.
So
therefore,
I have some amazing support, and I can't thank everyone who reaches out and comes out to the fights and supports me. Even if they can't make it, they're always hitting me up like, hey, we're catching the fight. Can't wait to watch you. And I just can't thank all of them enough. They make me want to wake up and get my ass in the gym and keep working so I can keep having their support and make them happy, because it makes them happy that I'm happy living my dream. So got some real good people around me, and like I said, I can't thank
that
enough.
last fight we were at Texas Live, man, that I swear half that place was Lone Star Kid.
Yeah, and he's building a brand with the Lone Star Kid shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes him recognizable. That makes him like people will see those shirts and they'll be like, "That's interesting. Who's that?
Yep.
What's that about?" And they ask questions. Like I've had people see the Ocho on the back of my shirts from other people. They're like, "What's that?" It raises questions and they're like, "Who's that?" Then they talk about you. Then that person's liable to go look you up, become a fan, and that's how your name spreads. So building a brand around yourself is the way to go.
Building a brand that way, building a brand by doing what you do in the cage, and then also with your post-fight and how you carry yourself. I mean, those things resonate all the way down the line to fans, to want to be fans, people that are just learning about you. That really brings them all on board, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. The way you carry yourself is a huge impact on people and the way they see you. And first impressions are everything, and the way I carry myself, if that's the first time they saw me fight, that's their first impression, is the skills that I possess in the cage, and then how I carry myself after. So always wanting to leave a good impact.
And you do have a little bit of taunting.
He's got some dog in the cage,
dude,
and that's important.
I thought they were going to fight at the weigh-in.
Some people will misconceive that as like cockiness, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know if I like him because the way he's walking out." It's like he's walking out. He looks mean. He looks like a person you wouldn't want to talk to.
Yeah, no
But then
shit.
when you see him, in normal life or after the fight, and he's walking around talking to people, you're like, "Oh, this kid's a relatable, good dude." Or in the post-fight speech, that's one thing that you handled really well early on in your career, was not to lose your shit on the mic. I was like 18. They gave me a mic.
And he's like, "Holy shit.
Yeah, let's get fucked up. Let's go." They're like, no. Everybody hated me. So, to be able to compose yourself in that moment, like, and just hold down the excitement and speak to the crowd is a, big show of maturity in your career.
Appreciate that.
And how old are you?
I'm 27.
Isaiah.
Yeah.
27,
23.
23. So
Young dudes.
very young dudes.
So Isaiah, you got a normal job? You go to work?
Now I just teach, so I'm like living.
You got a
this stuff.
normal job?
Yeah, like a day job.
This is life.
Landry, you were waiting tables for.
I was waiting tables.
What was that place?
Media.
Yeah, that place was good.
Yeah, so I quit waiting tables there probably about maybe month and a half before this fight, and I'll be making a move to Florida. Gonna be training down there now.
ATT?
It's not an American Top Team. It's called Freedom Fighters MMA. I might do a little bit at ATT, depending on, who we get in contact with there. First round management helped me out a lot, put me in connections. But yeah, making that move to Florida, so quit waiting tables, and now I got some people helping me out to just chase this dream, and they see how much I want it, so they invest in me, and their investment is not going wasted. I wake up every day telling myself I'm be a world champion, and go do the actions to make that dream become a reality.
So you're looking to move there and train full time, not just for fight camp?
Yeah, full time.
So Landry Ward's going to Florida.
Unfortunately,
The
gotta
Lone
leave
Star
the Lone
Kid,
Star
what the
State.
fuck?
I know,
Wow.
man.
You're gonna be the Cuban
Trader.
the Cuban kid.
He's selling
It
out. You're
is-
going to have to
it-
switch it up.
It is all Cuban. Spanish speaking every day. Going to the gym, I'll be picking that up. Real
What?
quick.
Like Miami, Florida?
Yeah.
Oh no, you're
Wow.
gonna be. He's gonna get so corrupted down there. Next time you see him, he's gonna be smoking and drinking, and
I'm be coming with cigars, gold chain,
Yeah.
tight ass jeans.
he's gonna have on some white ass jeans and a white button-down shirt.
Be all tan.
V-neck down
Hey,
here.
All
your
tan.
boots and belt buckle and hat aren't going to fit in down there?
Hey, there's a country club by where I'll be living, so
Oh,
when
snap.
I do go out, that might be where I'll be.
Oh man. And so Isaiah, you're teaching for.
Travis Luter. So yeah, I teach down there, and then I just do private lessons and stuff like that.
So you're teaching just all MMA, Muay Thai, stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's the way to go in the sport as far as like to make a living, especially when you have significant, years of experience. Teaching's the way to go. I mean, it's like going to school for, to become a doctor and then not being a doctor. You're going to school, you're getting all this experience. It's not just experience to go fight in front of a crowd or get locked in a cage. We can turn around and teach kids, teach women, teach men, train them, and it's also a great way to make a living. I mean, classes are a good way to build up clientele, but the private lessons it's the way to go.
It keeps you sharp too.
Yeah, because teaching,
I love teaching.
You learn from teaching as well, because you're telling somebody about the basics. You're also remembering, okay, yeah, I need to do this as well. So
you learn.
You got to practice what you preach. If I'm yelling at my students, keep your fucking hands up. Like, what? Quit throwing your jab and drop it down to your hip. Bring it back to your fucking face. Talking all this shit. Then when I throw my jab, I gotta snap it and bring it right back to my face. You know what I mean?
Otherwise, you're getting text messages and pictures of all that.
I teach to parry a push kick instead of parry it like Muay Thai and go like this. You parry it with your elbow, so you're not dropping your hands, and you turn at an angle. And there's a totally different way you can do it. It's a little more advanced and a little bit harder. And I'm in there, sparring with my student, and I parry it the old way. He's like, "Hey, coach, you said not to do it like that." I was like, "Hey,
I'm a professional.
Do what I say. Do what I say, not as I do." I did it like that because it's muscle memory. Because that's what my coach taught me. That's not what I'm teaching you.
I was showing you the wrong way.
Yeah,
we're trying to give you the right muscle memory.
It works. It works, but it can be, you can be baited that way. So you got to watch.
That's the worst. Kick
You just
to
can't
block.
do it the same way over and over again.
That's the worst kick to block is
the front kick.
A front teep or a push.
Oh, I'm great at blocking them.
Yeah, it's not fun though.
You block it either with the parry or with the elbow.
I usually use my chin.
Yeah.
How's that been working out?
Yeah, it's all right.
So, Isaiah, your fight camp is over in New Mexico,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How did you get hooked up there?
Actually, I had a teammate go down there and just stay in the dorms for a while, and then I was just like, man, that sounds pretty cool. And they got I was like, they got dorms, they got a bunch of fighters, they got some great coaches. So I was like, I'm gonna try taking a trip down there. I took a trip down there. The first time I went, I just stayed for like a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? And then the other times I go, it's usually like a month at a time. I've been going there off and on for like 3 years now. So
Gotcha.
I've been going there for a little bit now.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's real cool. It's an experience. It's
So who
cool.
you hanging out and training with down there?
Man, there's so many killers out there.
Like who was the one you saw like, like a little like starstruck?
Man. Dude, that's hard because there's so many of them. So I'd constantly be like, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like when I would see John Jones too, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, that's crazy. You see Holly Holmes, it's like, that's crazy. We're getting warm on the mat and you're just seeing, like there'd be tons of people, and then there'd be tons of people too. Like I would spar against, and then I didn't even know that they're like coming up in the UFC.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And what's cool right now is we got like this newer wave of fighters that are like I've worked with early on, and you're seeing them come up slowly, So it's like this new wave, where like when we were younger, they're like coming up slowly but surely, And I think I'm part of that wave,
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, definitely part of that wave.
Yes,
It's
sir.
the wave of people that trained mixed martial arts from the get-go, and trained multiple martial arts, but mixed martial arts as a sport.
For sure.
And then in the future, it'll be kids that trained mixed martial arts from the time they were children. So that'll be the next wave behind us. I think,
And that'll be interesting to see that wave.
Yeah, I'm part of like the beginning of that wave that's made it to the UFC, and there will be more of you guys coming up in the UFC. Landry's probably been training MMA from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
Not since you were a child.
Yeah, since I was 19.
Since you were 19. So, yeah, he's part of this wave.
Shit, that's
like the
almost
end of
a
that
child.
wave, and then and then
It's a young adult. Sorry, it's not a child.
these 10-year-olds and young kids that have been training MMA because it was already popular when they were a kid, and they're probably training with UFC fighters or guys like Jason Sampson or retired fighters. They're going to be the next wave behind us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree for sure.
So we got a big fight coming up this weekend. UFC
Was it 246?
246.
246.
Who's that main event? Timbo Slice.
Where's the hat? The fuck?
Put your hat on, asshole.
It's hard to have my headset on.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. So obviously, by the hat, you know who the hell I'm picking.
You're going with Cowboy Cerrone.
I'm going with Cowboy. He's going to lasso that leprechaun in the fucking third round. He's going to
no need to be racist here, Timbo Slice.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. I'm not saying I'm not racist. There's a lot of Irish whiskey in my blood.
Yeah,
maybe that's from last night. But I think Cerrone's gonna take him. He's gonna start with a head kick in the third, get him down
in the third.
In the third,
if it makes it that long.
So you're telling
there
me
you go.
Cowboy
Cowboy
Cerrone versus Conor McGregor. You think Cowboy is gonna head kick in the third round,
late in the third,
and take him down and choke shit at him?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. That's what I'm going with.
What do you think, Isaiah?
Man, it's a hard one. But if I had to put money on it, I could see it going both ways, But if I had to put money on it, I'd probably say Conor catches him second round. About right there.
Early.
I don't know, just somewhere in the second, but yeah, pretty early in the fight.
In the overall fight.
Yeah.
What about you, Lone Star?
Yeah, unfortunately, I like both fighters, but I definitely see Conor taking it in the first. Cowboy being a slow starter, Conor being a way too fast of a starter. I don't think it's going to work out too well for Cowboy.
Somebody listened to our show.
Mm-hmm.
But he can be a slow starter. That's why he's already going to do 2 rounds before he steps into the cage.
Well,
I mean, he's going to sit backstage. He has people that are lined up to go fucking head to head with him, so he's warmed up.
Because you can't sit there.
We'll see how he comes out.
You can't
I'm excited for him.
You can't let Conor get his rhythm right off the bat.
His timing.
And he's such a quick starter. He blitzes, and he throws the wheel kicks,
accuracy,
and Conor stands. I mean, Cowboy stands straight up like a TIE fighter.
Yep,
straight up, not really powerful hands, good kicks, but he stands like a TIE fighter. And I think that wheel kick is going to be money.
And when Cowboy comes out, when he starts, he finds a distance by just doing that.
Punches, yeah.
And
if he does that,
Conor times that,
it's over.
Yeah.
And Conor does have great timing with. I mean, he can pull that off of his opponent very quickly. So,
but if he can't put him out quickly, and he finds himself in a brawl, then Cowboy, his grit will take over, and Cowboy's able to put the combos similar to my style. It's when you're in the shit, that's when he succeeds. That's when he's his best, is in the middle of the shit, not outside, not exploding in, but when he's in the shit. I've explained the shit.
I think Cowboy's gonna win. Here's why. Look what Nate Diaz and Cowboy fight kind of similar to me, in a slow start, pawing jab.
But Nate Diaz is much more durable.
More
durable.
Cowboy.
Yes,
you've seen Cowboy get finished to body kicks.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right.
You've seen him get knocked out by Gaethje. So you haven't seen that with Diaz. Diaz is much more durable and better jiu-jitsu.
So here's,
in my opinion,
everybody's predicting pretty much the same thing. If it's a short fight, Conor McGregor, round 1, round 2. If it's a long fight, Cowboy Cerrone.
Science.
That's what everybody. That's what
science.
Everybody you ask about that fight is. That's what.
What if Cowboy fucking knocks him out in the first?
Conor McGregor,
he would turn some heads.
Conor
and then he might
McGregor
get him a rematch and might. But otherwise, this is his last big money fight. It's his time to retire. Win or lose, he should retire. But if he wins in the first, it'll give him another shot to potentially run for the title. Because as right now, he's on his way out. He lost to Gaethje. He lost to.
I don't think he cares about that title.
Fucking El Kukui.
I think he just loves to get out there and bang. I mean that is. I mean
he cares about the title, but say he fights for the BMF belt. Fuck it. Fuck the title. I'll just fight for the BMF belt, fight Masvidal, and that'd be another big money fight after this, and then he can walk away.
Conor McGregor has
money. I think the winner of this fights for the BMF fight, and then the winner of that fights for the real.
So you think they're going to continue with that, even though Dana said this is a one-time gig?
Well, it's a one-time gig, but it's
If
He
it's
still
money
put
in
it-
his pocket,
he could
he's
put
gonna,
he
it's,
could
it's
put
gonna
his
be 2 or
belt
3.
up for grabs.
Yeah,
you know,
the-
maybe they don't make another one, but he puts his up for grabs, and there's just one because in the championship belts they make a new one every time.
So it'll be like the
Just one circulating
just
belt.
one belt
That'd
that-
be pretty dope.
your
And then,
initials
yeah, it's
will
a
be
novelty,
and date will
like
be
yeah,
For all weight
engraved
classes.
on
you
it.
just engrave your stamp on it.
Kinda
and
like the
then
Stanley
if
Cup.
you lose it, you got to pass it off.
I would say the BMF would stop after the winner of this fights Masvidal.
Yeah,
Because you got Conor, biggest businessman in the sport. Obviously, he can make a run for the BMF belt. Then you got BMF Ranch Cowboy. That's just 2 people who have to fight for the BMF belt.
What about fucking Nick Diaz? I know he hasn't fought in forever, but he has always been better than Nate. He's the bigger brother.
And he's been wanting to come back and
And-
defend and take his little brother.
And Jorge said he would fight him. The UFC just doesn't want to make the fight.
Man, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, growing up, I was a huge Nick Diaz.
Oh,
fan,
yeah.
man.
Yeah,
It's
Nick's
like-
badass.
And I think Nick has got to be better than Nate.
I think
So
so.
Now,
I think
maybe
he
not
stands-
anymore.
Well, I mean, sure, he's probably a little rusty, but he's the older brother. He's the one that teaches Nate. That's like in 5 years, me being on the edge of retirement and then Aaron being in his prime. That kid's fucking 20. He'll be
Right.
25 in 5 years. He could be potentially,
Another
the next
Kicking your
Nick-
ass, is
Nick-
that what you're saying?
another
When he
thing.
kicks my ass, I gotta retire. I told him that. I was like, once you kick, if you can kick my ass, it's time
There they
to,
go,
for
Storm.
me to hang it up.
He's doing push-ups right now. Another thing is Conor McGregor hadn't won a fight in 3 years. Nobody's talking about that. He hadn't won a fight in 3 years, dude.
Hey, BJ Penn hasn't won a fight in fucking like 10 years, so
Yeah, and he keeps getting
that
the shit
doesn't mean
beat out of
that
him.
doesn't mean nothing in the sport of MMA, especially the fights he's been in. Khabib, fucking Mayweather,
Mm-hmm.
and then who was that before that?
He beat Diaz before.
Yeah, and he beat
beat
Diaz. So he's
Diaz.
only had 2
He
fights.
lost a boxing match and then lost the fight to
Yeah,
Khabib.
he's only lost 2 fights.
In
One
Two
MMA
cage fights. Two-
one MMA fight and one
One boxing.
One boxing.
One fake fight.
So yeah. So realistically saying he hasn't won a fight in 3 years is like that's like saying I haven't won a fight in 6 months. Well, I haven't fought in 6 months.
Right.
Like this is not a big deal.
I don't know. That's a lot of ring rust. Say it's real or not. That's a
He's
lot of
still
ring rust.
fighting in the gym. He's still got his mojo. If he didn't have his mojo, then he wouldn't have made it to the fight because he'd be injured.
Yep.
So he's got his mojo. He's ready to go. I mean, and then some guys fold in the spotlight and they need training for that. Some guys shine in the spotlight, and Conor's always been a guy that shines in the spotlight.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So I think he will be just fine. It's a matter of how long can he go. Late in the second, he's going to hit that wall, and you're going to see it, especially with the extra muscle. I believe you will see it if he makes it that long.
Yeah,
What do you
Vic-
think over there,
If
cuz?
Cowboy makes it that long.
I think honestly, if it comes down to the later rounds, I'm gonna go with Donald Cerrone because, in my personal opinion, I think Conor McGregor, when it comes down to a test of his heart, he usually gets out-hearted. I think that's what happened with.
You heard it here
Diaz.
from cuz.
I think that's if it goes that way for Cowboy. I think that's what it'll be. It'll be a matter
Cowboy's
of
definitely got the heart advantage, but that's that like it factor.
it has to be an it.
Connor's still got the speed, the power, timing, but as far as endurance and heart, that goes the way of Cerrone for sure.
And Cerrone's a badass motherfucker. I'm gonna put it right there. Cerrone's
Yeah,
bad,
He's
dude.
got the BMF ranch. You
Yeah.
been to the BMF ranch? Yeah, I know you've been out to Albuquerque, right?
Nah, dude. I always thought
Yeah.
that'd be so cool to go out there, though.
Just want to go ride dirt bikes with him or something.
For real.
Yeah.
Shoot some paintball guns
Yeah.
and stuff, dude. He seems like he's always doing something. I'm like way too laid back, though, I think. They'd be like, man, this guy's a bum.
Yeah, this kind of lame.
That's boring.
He's just trying to play games, you know?
He's just trying to play video games. Let's go ride horses.
Get out that video game. Let's go out on the ranch and do some real shit. Huh?
It'd kick me out.
Damn. So who's the co-main event for that fight?
Is it Holly Holm?
Holly Holm.
And Raquel
Yeah.
Pennington?
Yep.
Yes.
Holly should win that. No problem,
Mhm.
I believe.
I think so, too.
But Raquel will
She's a banger.
surprise you.
She's a banger.
Bad.
Yeah, Raquel will surprise you. And
But
pull a-
Holly's on her bike. It might be boring for a while, but she sticks circles, and sets up that head kick every time. And I think that's going to be the same. She'll get Raquel to start chasing her.
she'll
And
outclass her.
once Raquel starts chasing her,
Bang.
she'll start leaving openings, and then she'll run into the head kick just like everybody else.
She'll stop
before
that running and stop plant and hit head kick, and down she
Yep.
goes. Huh?
Yeah.
I think she's going to try to
You've
wrestle
seen it
Holly.
so many, even
Yes, yeah.
since Holly's been at LFA. It's like, God, this chick's boring. Oh! Every time.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You're like, God, this is a fucking. Oh, shit! Did you see that?
Damn.
The enthusiasm.
Yeah,
man.
That's how it goes.
He's trying to get Joe Rogan's job over here.
Felt like I was there.
Look, oh man, I was reliving it in my head.
I was imagining her fighting, just seeing it. How
I'm
I've
over here
seen
like, let's
it
go,
so many
Holly.
times. Let's fucking go.
Oh,
So you've trained over there with Holly.
yeah. Dude, I think Holly's gonna.
How big?
gonna
She's
get
a pretty
Dude,
good
she's
size.
a good size 35. Or
Yeah,
that's
she's-
what surprised me when I first seen her.
she's
I was
all
like,
muscle.
Damn, like, dude, she's super fit, and she's a big 35 or like.
I saw her at an LFA event where she was shooting a commercial, and she walked out with like high heels and a badass
Yeah, I
hot
remember
pink
that night.
skirt.
Yeah.
Dude, she walked by me. I mean, she was wearing heels. She was 3 or 4 inches taller than me and all jacked. I was like,
She's
oh shit, that was Holly Holmes.
You know how I know so many people are watching this at their desk at work. As soon as I scream that oh shit, we lost 5 viewers just like that. Boom. Like oh, and then
Damn it, they didn't have their headphones on.
they're slowly starting to come back on. We went from 28, boom, 20. It's slowly start climbing back up. Like okay, no more screaming profanity. They're like trying to watch it all quietly. Like,
Aren't they on their lunch hour?
Yeah.
They can turn that
They should
shit
be
up.
on their lunch hour. Some people have a late lunch.
All right.
And it's
all right,
Friday.
give 'em that.
Give it to them.
This guy gets one Lone Star in him to start.
Oh man, I get lit.
It's that Lone Star
You
coffee
don't-
mix right there.
Yeah,
Lone Star
Lone
and
Star
Curry.
with coffee.
There you go.
They should make a Lone Star
Coffee. The
Oh,
Landry.
man.
Call it the
Hey.
Landry Ward.
Yep.
Dude, they got a 4 Loco back in the day, man. Those 4 Locos, they knock you down and they kick you
Oh,
down.
man.
Energy shit.
Damn.
Those things
Like-
are fucking dangerous.
Steven should start a
How many-
malt liquor,
How many women
just like 8
were
Ball.
quote date raped on Four Locos?
Oh,
That was
Let's
the
not get
idea.
into
You
this.
remember that? You remember how the girls would get on the Four Locos? They would just like, boom, lose it.
because it was that rot gut liquor.
Oh, it was. It's because it has caffeine in it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got a shit ton of caffeine. So you drink like 2 of those and you're fucked up and you're straight lit. And you're just like, ugh.
And then the
And you-
caffeine wears
and you-
off.
and you can't pass out. So I was like fucking 17, 18 when these came out, and we were like chugging them, and then you get so fucked up that you'd be like puking your guts out, but then you can't fall asleep because you're like all caffeinated out. That's why people would die on them.
I lived in Lubbock my freshman year of college, and a couple of my buddies would beer bong 4 Locos.
It's so
I was
bad
like,
for you.
I was like, how the?
Like, we think
and
our
then,
parents
and
have
then they'd go
issues.
to the bar.
We think our parents have like health issues. Just wait.
Yeah, no shit. I don't think I'm gonna live as long as my dad did.
Oh,
Then be
man.
having those commercials.
Damn.
If you were a loved one who's big diagnosed with
Yeah.
cancer from drinking 4 Locos, you could be entitled to compensation.
Oh,
What?
dude, they're gonna get so many people hitting them up.
Well, it's been an awesome show. Thanks for coming with us and coming back in. Landry Ward, Isaiah Gutierrez, congrats on your guys' recent wins. It was good to see you both tested and come out on top in those tests.
Thank you.
And thanks to all our fans and listeners for tuning in. This is Fight Fit Lifestyle Radio. We'll see you next week.